Awesome. Friends, good evening. Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us to another Gnostic Lab of Practical Application. Tonight, we're going to focus on awakening the faculty of intuition. And there are many mantras that you can use to awaken intuition. If you see a mantra that emphasizes the vowel I, that vowel is going to immediately invite a harmonious vibration of those subtle centers that exist within your head. But before we go into that, let's remember what Samael tells us. He says there are three necessary steps to initiation. There is inspiration, there is intuition, and then there is imagination. We are all fairly familiar with the concept of imagination. After all, everyone is more or less imaginative. But imagination by itself can be objective or mechanical. Mechanical imagination is the same thing as our fantasies, our daydreams, all those mental constructs that we generate when we are gluing together a movie in the screen of our mind. All that is mechanical imagination. But when it comes to conscious imagination, objective imagination, that is when we are empowering the consciousness to perceive. And this is why we are consistently telling you, embrace the principle of spontaneity. Because sometimes, as we are starting and we are just good beginners, what we get is just a glimpse of an image. It is very short in a time span duration, and yet it is long enough for us to perceive so much from it. And sometimes what we get to see, well, we don't like it, or it's not what we expect. And, well, aspects of us tend to just reject that, and that is a mistake. So we understand what imagination is. Then there is inspiration. When it comes to inspiration, inspiration gives us the spiritual reality of things. And the spiritual reality is phenomenal. Because the moment that you see it, you can see it as something that is edifying and dignifying for the consciousness, or something that is just filling material, something that is useless. Perhaps, let's not say useless because everything is important. Something that perhaps does not really add much value. And as you see that, well, you can easily discern, and that eventually moves you into conscious discernment. But then we have intuition. And intuition is a marvelous thing, because intuition, as a faculty of the consciousness, it lets you perceive the significance and the reason of things without having to go through the comparative processes of the mind. You just perceive it and you suddenly say, I get it, or I understand, or got it. It only takes a fraction of a second, but suddenly it is something comparable to a download that satisfies everything that you were seeking to know and comprehend about this or that thing. And it is something great. You're, for example, doing some work in your house and you are wondering, how is it that a problem is solved? And in a moment of quietude, you see the answer. You say, whoa, what was that? Let me go check. You try it. Effectively that. You see, and these are minuscule. I'm saying minuscule because we're looking at them from a perspective of size. But these are very small victories that when we glue them together, they start adding into this experience of the awakening of the consciousness. So 3 steps are necessary for us to walk into this full path of initiation: imagination, inspiration, and intuition. And all of these things are faculties of the heart. But what we're going to do is that we are going to work with the centers in the head that allow us to perceive these things in their utmost purity. Yes, these are faculties of the heart, so why are we going to focus on the head? Well, simply because we have some connections between specific elements that exist in the head and the heart, as much as elements that exist in the head and our sexuality. Case in point, Look at the screen and let me show you then the three atoms of interest. Now, we're saying three atoms of interest, but this is not for you to think in terms of atomic orbitals. I don't want you to be thinking about electrons and protons and neutrons. We're speaking here of atoms in terms of a particle that can no longer be divided into anything simpler. And these three particles are the atom of the Father, of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. The atom of the Father exists within the master switchboard of the body. That master switchboard is the hypothalamus, and it corresponds to the brain. The cerebral cortex creates consciousness and thinking. And we're speaking, of course, from the perspective of our modern day scientists, when they are referring to consciousness as an ability to perceive and not as that pure divine material that we have been given to crystallize a soul. So the atom of the Father exists within the hypothalamus, and it corresponds to the brain. The second one is the atom of the Son. Now, this one exists within the master gland, which is the pituitary gland. But this atom corresponds to the heart. It affects all of the endocrine system. So we have an atom of the Father that corresponds to the brain, an atom of the Son that is right there in very close proximity, sitting to the right of the Father, and then it corresponds to the heart. And last, we have the atom of the Holy Spirit. This atom of the Holy Spirit exists within the pineal gland, and it corresponds with our sexual creative organs. The concentration of our sexual hormones is dictated by the activities of the pineal gland and the hormones that are released by the pineal gland. So we have these three atoms in the head: hypothalamus, pineal gland, pituitary gland. And when we start singing a vowel I that sounds like a short I, as in E, we bring a vibration into our head. Interestingly enough, within the pineal gland, there are some crystals. These crystals have some piezoelectric properties. For those of you who don't know, something that is piezoelectric, when you induce vibration, well, it induces an electric flow. It induces a generation of energy. And whenever we are singing our mantras, those crystals that exist within the pineal gland will vibrate, and they will in turn magnify the magnetic field, the electromagnetic field in our head. Now, these crystals also have a transceiving capability. That means that, listen to this, just like the antenna in our old TV sets, we would be able to receive some vibrations from the environment, and just like the antenna would be able to perceive those electromagnetic vibrations and display them on a screen for us to see, the same thing happens with our pineal gland. As we induce this vibration and we amplify that electromagnetic field, the transducing properties of the pineal gland allow to receive of this imagery, and suddenly we can start perceiving better. This is all marvelous. This is simply phenomenal. And the practice that we're going to do tonight is meant to induce as much vibration as we can possibly generate. For this purpose tonight, we're going to make use of the mantra TRIN. The letter T strikes and starts this vibration. It is similar to you striking a bell. Then the letter R, when we exaggerate it and we pronounce it with our tongue, not with the back of our throat, not but r. It induces a vibration that invites the harmonious, I hate to keep saying vibration so much, but it invites the harmonious vibration of the 7 centers in the human body. The 7 chakras that exist along the spine start vibrating in harmony. We already know that these chakras receive subtle energies from the 5th dimension, specifically from the astral plane. And that within our chakras, there is a Buddhic mesh. Imagine this as a filter. Imagine this kind of like a coffee filter. That it will filter the most subtle energies from the 5th dimension and allow those energies to be deposited in the plexus on which these chakras are located. We already know that a plexus is a location in the body where we have a combination of nerve endings and we have arterial and venous flow of blood. So we receive those energies, and as these centers start vibrating with better harmony, well, it creates a more favorable condition to the body because the chakras are connected to specific glands associated with our endocrine system. Now, knowing this, as we go from the R to the I, the letter I in Spanish, E, then we start inducing that heavier vibration in the head. And the pineal gland and the pituitary gland and the hypothalamus start vibrating accordingly in a more intense degree of vibration. And as that is happening, well, that pituitary gland that influences the endocrine system, well, now is vibrating in more harmony with the body. And last, the letter N. The letter N brings the effect of elongating the vibration, just like when you strike a bell and you can hear that sound from the bell as it slowly dissipates, and as a vibration it goes like that, asymptotic to zero. So this is what we're going to do tonight. The mantra TRIN. And how are we going to sing this mantra? I will invite you to sing it as much as you can, as close to this. TRIN. Dedicate your whole breath as much as you can so that you can elongate that vibration. Now when you breathe in, fill your lungs, and let's make an effort to retain that breath for maybe 3 seconds, maybe 4 seconds. As we hold it, and as much as you're doing this exercise, we need you to combine your willpower and your objective imagination. Beautiful harmony. See those chakras in the head spinning clockwise, just like when you're standing facing a clock on the wall and you're following the second hand. The chakra is going to be spinning in that direction. And see those centers vibrating in harmony. Try to not give an opportunity to your mind to be distracted with any other thoughts. As we do this exercise, we're going to vocalize for just 10 minutes. 10 minutes. And after the 10 minutes are done, we're going to continue the exercise, but you're going to continue reciting that mantra with your silent word. That silent word in Hindu is known as the japa. And the ancient writings, they say, when you know how to sing these mantras, when you use the silent japa, wow, it is 100,000 times more powerful than when you're verbalizing. Imagine that. So we're going to vocalize for 10 minutes. And after 10 minutes, we're going to remain there with our body relaxed. And you will continue to breathe following the same harmonious breathing pattern. And now you'll be able to intensify the mantra even more. Elongate it even more. And at some point, you will decide when is it that you're done. For the sake of our practice, let's keep this a short recording for all those who are getting this on the web on some other day that is beyond our day of Gnostic day practice. So we're going to relax our body. We're going to sing the mantra. And by the time that 10 minutes comes around, we on this side, we're going to fade away in the distance. But I will encourage you to embrace the gentle vibration that comes from this mantra and to open yourself to that which is new. We're going to start a relaxation exercise. So let's go ahead and see if we can minimize any external distractions. So feel free to go ahead and cover the computer screen so that that blue light is not affecting you at this time of the night. Very well. So now that we're here, let's go ahead and sit comfortably. We do not need of any fancy postures. These postures, they are known as asanas. But asana means comfortable posture. So what we need is a posture that is comfortable for us. If you're so fortunate that you can do a half lotus or a full lotus, by all means go for it. The rest of us, well, if we are comfortable on a chair, let's just make sure that we're sitting comfortably on the chair with our feet flat on the floor. Make sure that your spine is vertical and that your head is resting comfortably on your shoulders. And let's start by making ourselves aware of the sensations in our physical body. If there's anything at this time of the day that feels a little uncomfortable, now is the time to release that. So while some of us do that, let's take a deep breath in 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. As we move forward with the exercise, with every exhalation, make it a point at every exhalation to allow your body just to sink just a little deeper onto that chair. Just to sink a little deeper onto that mat. We take another breath in 1, 2. And let's make ourselves aware of what is our emotional state. We have already learned that emotions are preceded by thoughts. And it is possible that you find yourself here now with an emotion that is just one of those residual, lingering emotions from the day. Maybe you just feel numb and drained because of the challenges of the day. Or maybe you're excited, or maybe you're frustrated, or maybe you're just content. What is important about this is to realize that every one of our emotions has an opposite that is identical in its kind, but that is completely different in degree. And if you were to look at your frustration, if you imagine that you look in the opposite direction, you will see that there is also an opportunity to offer kindness, compassion, patience, serenity. If you feel numb, well, on that very same token, if you were to look in the opposite direction, you will see that in that same continuum, there is an opportunity to express alert novelty, alert perception, to see things as new, as if you had never experienced them before, with that great deal of joy and satisfaction. Seeing these opposites empower us so that we can step aside, outside of the reach of that continuum. And we can use our objective imagination and our willpower to manifest that which is constructive to the consciousness. Knowing this, let's recite together the mantra Glim Krishnaya so that we can create a nice sphere of protection. The mantra Glim Krishnaya allows for the materialization of a flaming star around us that keeps at bay any tenebrous entities, that keeps at bay any egos, any personalities that may be wandering within the higher realms of consciousness. So together we can say Klim Krishnaya Govindaya Kopihana Vayavaya Swaha. Let's say that again for good purpose. Klim Krishnaya Govindaya Kopihana Vayavaya Swaha. One last time for good practice. Klim Krishnaya Govindaya Kopihana Vayavaya Swaha. And here within the sphere we can invoke of our Father who is in secret, our innermost, our spirit, by saying, Divine Father, Father of mine, you who are my true being, you who are my eternal God, here humbly at your presence, asking for your grace, for your contribution. Let it be you, Divine Father, the one who officiates in this practice. Let it be you, the one who gives our consciousness an opportunity to experience the power of intuition. Give us an opportunity here and now, today. And if not, then in the upcoming days, so that we may experience the power of intuition. We ask of this in your holy name. So be it. And with that, we take a deep breath in 1, 2, and let's start using our creative imagination and our willpower, and see that your physical body is populated by an infinite amount of little gnomes. And go ahead and allow these gnomes to walk out through the soles of your feet, one by one. Notice that as you allow these little gnomes to walk out the soles of your feet, you immediately start feeling a relaxation that goes from your toes to your heels, your ankles, your shins, and your calves. We experience that gentle softness that comes with relaxation, but we do not identify with it. We simply perceive and contemplate. And as those little gnomes continue walking out the soles of your feet, you feel that relaxation growing in the underside of your thighs. And that relaxation reaches your hips, your buttocks, and the base of your spine. We continue focusing on our breathing. We notice that our breathing starts becoming effortless, starts becoming unperceivable. And we receive that with much gratitude. And focus the attention of the consciousness once again on our feet. And as we continue observing those gnomes, walking out one by one, we feel that relaxation expanding into our abdominal cavity. And we bring about relaxation to our intestines. We bring relaxation to our lymphatic system. To our liver, our pancreas, to our stomach, our lungs, our heart, and our shoulders. And from there, we let that relaxation expand into our elbows, our wrists, our hands, and our fingers. At this moment, we can invoke of our Divine Mother. Say, Divine Mother, we're here humbly at your presence, asking of you to bring about the Hermetic seal. Divine Mother, we ask that you bring of your sacred fire and that you close all doors that we may have opened. Doors open to negative emotions. Doors open to inferior thoughts, to inferior expressions of being. Doors that we may have opened because of blind devotion. Doors that we may have opened because we were overly trusting. Divine Mother, we ask that you bring of your sacred fire everywhere where we have inadvertently opened any of these doors, and that you close them for us. Opening doors only to the will of the innermost. To directions that are superior. We give you infinite thanks. So be it. We focus the attention of the consciousness once again on our feet, and we continue observing those little gnomes. And as they continue walking out one by one, we feel that gentle softness inundating every aspect of our body. And we start feeling that relaxation at the base of our skull. Back there in that space that exists in between our ears. And we allow that relaxation to continue expanding and relax our jaw, our tongue, our lips, our eyes and eyelids, the muscles of our forehead, And we allow that relaxation to reach the crown of our head. And from there to expand upwards into the infinite heavens, like a ray of light. And as it connects to the innermost, we see a gentle blue light that penetrates into our body and inundates our head, our heart, our lungs, and we are so grateful for this deep state of relaxation. Know that at any moment you can invoke of this state, today or in the next few days. And using our objective imagination and our willpower, we will see our chakras vibrating in harmony. We will see balance. Singing the mantra TRIN. Let's bring our practice to an end by taking a deep breath in 1, 2, and give yourself a moment to give thanks to your Father, to your Divine Mother who are in secret. And slowly wiggle your toes and your fingers. And with that, we bring our practice tonight to an end. Dear friends, hopefully you got a lot of good practice with this one. Hopefully you enjoy this practice tremendously and you will continue doing it. So thank you everyone so much for being here with us this evening. May all beings be happy. Have a good night.